The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. If you enjoy our work, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow the links in the description. Thanks for your support, and enjoy.
Greetings and salutations, listeners. I, Eric J. Chucci, here, as always, with the boy.
Hey.
This is the Two Nerds Podcast. My buddy Di does a thing. If you click the link in the description, you can go to his blog and read about rugby. He's a sweet, sweet man.
Di's great. He's fun. Read his rugby thing.
Yeah. What if you don't like rugby? You might. If you read his rugby thing, it could also cure your prostate cancer.
Please note, the views expressed by Eric J. Chucki are not legally binding and are his own views, not Di's views.
I wonder how many of our listeners... I feel like I'm doing that fucking Saturday Night Live sketch where those two ladies just talk real breathy and low, very radio voice. I wonder how many of our listeners have prostate cancer that joke was like, oh shit, yeah, let me go click that.
Probably not many, because I doubt very many of our listeners are quite that stupid. I'd like to believe better than you. You know what? That didn't work. I'm sorry.
Fine.
Joke's dead. Joke's dead. My fault.
We're talking about WWE's Clash of Champions.
Which was, compared to Backlash, which everyone on the internet loves, which only reinforces my firm belief that people on the internet have bad taste in wrestling. But everyone liked Backlash. It was bad, as I believe you'll see from our previous podcast. Clash of Champions...
If you haven't, go listen.
Clash of Champions was, by contrast, fucking amazing. A double plus with a cherry on top.
9 stars, greatest pay-per-view of all time. In comparison. As an actual pay-per-view, good B.
Yeah, B+. I'd say B+, A- minus maybe.
Thereabouts.
Wasn't perfect, but was really entertaining and fun.
There were a couple of stupid fucking calls, but other than that. Listener, I'm sorry if there's some interference every now and then. My cat, who is very old, and I love her dearly, it does this thing in the autumn where she
lives.
Yeah, on my left shoulder,
like
facing away from me.
Specifically his left shoulder, specifically facing away from him, draped over his chest. She's done it for years, every autumn, and she's completely impossible to dissuade. He will pick her up and put her down. She will immediately jump back on. He has sprayed her before. She merely looks balefully at him and goes nowhere.
This wouldn't be a problem, except that, while she's not a heavy cat, eventually my shoulder hurts. And also, she is a farty cat. She's a little old bag of farts. And it's bad, listener. She's eating kitten food because she's old and will die sooner than I'd like, and I don't care. Makes her happy.
And she eats it.
Yeah, it's softer on her old lady teeth. But this isn't the cat cast. We're talking about Clash of Champions.
She jumped back on
immediately
after he put it on, and it was too funny. I had to laugh.
Probably a ka-thunk on the audio. I like to explain things to you. I tell you what, though, our cats are often frequent guest stars on the podcast. Go back and listen to all our podcasts, play a fun drinking game, and, pour a big, healthy, tumbler-sized shot that's like a glass, not
a tumbler.
The website.
Not a tumbler.
And drink that every time one of the cats shows up in the podcast.
You won't get very drunk because we have produced several, I believe, well over 150
just really
hours.
Easy to listen to. They go by quickly, especially if you drink all that alcohol.
No, you gotta sell them on the value of the volume, man. That's a lot of stuff you could listen to. That's a lot of Two Nerds you could experience. And drinking games are best when they don't kill you of alcohol poisoning.
If you say so.
I do. Me and all the fraternities.
Anyway, Clash of Champions. Opening match.
One of the best and then one of the worst members of Bullet Club. Another thing back from a previous podcast I need to call back to. I tried to give Carl Anderson the benefit of the doubt. It didn't work. He's balls. I hate him. Carl Anderson sucks. But the Club versus the New Day for the Raw tag team titles.
This was this the worst match on the card?
I don't think so, sir.
No, yeah, I forgot about.
I will say that I honestly don't think there was a bad match on this card.
Well, no, yeah, sure, but it was, I don't know, like Carl Anderson sucks.
Carl Anderson does suck, but
He does suck, but the end.
he does suck. But one, he actually does a decent spine buster. It's like his only good move, and I want to give him credit for it. And two, I didn't go A2, right? I went one. Two, I might sound stupid there. The right team won. And by right team, I don't mean what was best for the booking, because, I mean, the New Day probably should have lost 2 or so pay-per-views ago.
No. They need to take... It's time for new legends to be made.
You think stick with them until they're the actual number one?
Mm-hmm, I think these legends need to be 3 excitable black nerds with phalluses on their heads.
Who are making wrestling fun again.
Who
God
throw cereal
damn
at a motherfucker. The Chikara hidden within this WWE.
But I don't. And
After that, they can drop it. They can drop it and never fucking touch it again.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, I still think it might have been okay for them to lose that first match against the club just for, good booking purposes. But I don't care. They can. You know what? They could be champions for the next 7 years. Just don't change what you're doing, guys. Be the New Day, heel New Day, face New Day. I don't care. Just stay champions forever, and I'm happy because you are like the funnest goddamn thing on this show.
Even as a booker, you don't. 20 years from now, nobody's going to know who held the original tag team title record. They're not going to remember him. It's going to be like, oh yeah, those guys I've seen on posters and shit. Just like it was with the record that CM Punk broke. But people will look back in 20 years and go, ah yes, CM Punk. Those records need to be broken now and then. And while in the real world it takes athletic, determination and practice and training and the miracle of Usain Bolt.
He sometimes just seems like he's fucking with the other racers. Like
he's
posing,
Sonic the Hedgehog.
He's posing for photo. Like the dudes behind him are giving it their all. Their faces are like, this is the most effort I can possibly put out. This is the pinnacle of my experience. Usain Bolt's like turning to the side, smiling, winking at the camera, waving. He's clearly not trying.
Next Olympics, I hope he does that run thing that you see on Vine.
Mm-hmm.
Where the guy's like,
with like the sideways arms,
yeah.
and he just still wins.
He could do it.
Like he's just gonna, you know what he's doing? He's just racking up gold medals every year. He's just gonna put a little bit more gas in the tank,
2% more,
until he's 75 and just blowing past everyone. He's the Flash. He's secretly amazing. The Flash, is what I'm saying.
But yeah, so in the fake athletic world, just break those records. Not all the time, good lord, but it's been about 30, 40 years. 50. It's about time.
Look, there are some records that are never gonna be broken. Bruno Sammartino, his record's never going to get broken.
Yeah, that's
just not going to happen.
It's just too long. It's just silly long.
It's just not going to happen. The WWE title will always have been held for the longest by Bruno Sammartino. That is a fact of life. Until the WWE isn't a thing anymore.
Then the last champion will be like, yes. Before I die, I want to know what kills the WWE.
I think it might outlive both of us.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it, but I'd like to know what eventually ends it.
Just like for like an extra dimensional being to come down from on high and be like...
One of Tripp's and Steph's daughters is really bad at booking, but she's the only one who cares.
Like TNA bad.
It was a nice opener. It wasn't a great match. It wasn't, a spectacle. And I've seen all of these guys, except for Carl Anderson, put on really good matches.
It was a fun match.
It was all right.
It was good. It was fun. It was 6 minutes.
Yeah,
so
it wasn't...
It was about as good as you're going to get for 6 minutes and 45 seconds.
The promo before it was good. New Day was fun. Moving right along, we have the...
Let's start with the other guy. We have Brian Kendrick, a storied talent who was tag champion for a long time. and he's very talented. And I like his pirate gimmick and his beard, and I like that he calls his he calls his submission finisher the Captain's Hook. That's really nice.
I don't like his face. Not in that way where, like, you know, Weatherman, where I just don't like his asshole face. I don't like the expression he makes when he's fighting, because he goes a little too serious beans and doesn't suck me into the match. I don't feel like I think he's killing engagement with it instead of like putting over his character. Now that's me. And I like Brian Kendrick.
I don't happen to share that opinion as a bit of contrast.
Yeah, but I don't know, it pulled me out of things. But then he was in the ring with T.J. Perkins. T.J. Perkins, who was my second choice for who would win the CWC.
First being
Ho-Ho Loon. I really liked Ho-Ho Loon. He had a better underdog story than Perkins did. You know, the guy who basically started wrestling in China.
Yeah.
But Perkins is amazing. And anybody who watched him in the CWC knows he deserves that Cruiserweight title.
My God, he's so good.
And then he comes out to a bastardized version of the Wily stage theme from Mega Man 2 that sounds like it was fucking written by Anamanaguchi.
I'm sorry, no. Bastardized is too strong a word. It's that Conan bit where we have a song that sounds like the Wily stage, Wily's main theme from Mega Man 2, but we can legally prove it isn't.
But like the beat's there, and you can sing it over top of it, and it fits just fucking fine. And like, gives me life, man. It was a beautiful, beautiful little moment. The match was okay. It was a lot slower than we saw in the CWC. Obviously, that was always going to happen. But I dug it. It was good tension.
Yeah, same. Just good.
T.J. Perkins retained. Brian Kendrick was an asshole.
They're actually giving them a storyline, which is nice. They gave them, 10 minutes to do their job, and that's nice.
Yeah, it was a good match.
I would say, honestly, I would have liked it to change place with the next match and time slot with the next match. But then again, I say that, and the next match was actually really fucking entertaining. The finish wasn't good, but the match preceding that finish was really good.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say it was like my favorite match, but I don't know, because there's a lot of good matches in this card. TJ Perkins retained. Did we say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You did.
The next match is Sheamus versus Cesaro. They've been doing a best of 7 series.
They're 3-3, as it happens in WWE.
As it happens when you're doing a best of 7 series. Well, you don't announce a best of 7 series, and then one guy's like, "We won 4 matches."
You don't do that in...
Sucks to be you.
You don't do that in pro wrestling, no. You do... It does happen a lot in basically any actual sport.
Sure, but you're telling a story here. This is more interesting.
Yep.
This match was fucking amazing.
Yeah, it was. It was great.
Just beginning to end, just great shit.
Cesaro was amazing. Sheamus once again proves why he deserves all the love that I give him, because he's an incredibly underrated talent. And, it was just it was a fight. It was a really good contrast to the match that preceded it, also. Because it was athletic, and so was the Cruiserweight Classic, but it was a very different feel. This felt like 2 heavyweights fucking duking it out.
Oh, yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, it was amazing. The match ended in a no contest when Cesaro took Sheamus over the barricade.
Which is like hopping over a curb in every other wrestling match in the history of time. But in this match was so injurious that they had to stop the whole match.
And, they sold it really well, and they made sure the wrestlers didn't get the heat for it.
And they sold
the negative heat.
And they sold it a couple different times. Throughout the match, they were selling that these two were fucking each other up to an extreme degree, and that they both were walking into the match injured because of the best of 7 series they had been doing. They really set up for this finish the whole match. It still doesn't make it a good finish.
No. And the reason why is, even though I haven't been watching the weekly shows or anything, if I had been, I wouldn't want to see them wrestle again more already.
Yeah, no, this can just be the end. This Best of 7 matches is more than almost any feud needs. 7 one-on-one matches.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, man. As
But-
much as I like them in the ring, and as much as the new version of a casual fan, I guess, as I am for the WWE, and I don't have to see this week in, week out, I would rather this had just had a winner.
Yeah, same. They really did. They did good to sell the wrestlers as a result, though, because Cesaro, both guys got to be hard men.
Yeah.
Sheamus had to be literally dragged to the back so he would stop fighting, even though he couldn't stand. Cesaro
Had a dead arm.
Yeah, Cesaro had a dead arm and was yelling at the ref like, "I'll fight with one arm."
I've done it before. I'll do it again.
It was really good selling of the wrestlers, but a really bad booking decision. But the match itself was fucking phenomenal. Really phenomenal. Not like the Demon AJ Styles.
No. The next match on the card is a snoozer.
Yep.
Sami Zayn and Chris Jericho.
That was the best Chris Jericho match I've seen in months.
Yeah, he did really well. And honestly, technically speaking, it was fine.
Yeah.
There were a couple things Jericho didn't
It was well wrestled.
sell very well or didn't land very well.
Jericho's 40-something.
Yeah, Jericho's 45 and Sami Zayn is like a beanpole. So
They have good chemistry. They wrestled the match well.
Mhm.
It didn't grab my attention. It happened. It was 15 minutes. I actually was browsing Tumblr for most of that. I'm going to be completely
it was a
honest.
piss break. It's a long pay-per-view. We're halfway through. Go take a piss. The match will still be going on when you get back. You won't have missed anything.
And that's true.
Chris Jericho ended up winning. Did he cheat? I don't even remember.
I don't care.
I guess, yeah, me either. Next, we had our Raw Women's Championship match, which was a triple threat between Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte.
Okay, I got problems with this match.
I do too.
This match was I'm going to get this right out front. The wrong person won.
Yeah, I agree so much.
And people on the internet, once again, they disagree. They think Charlotte should have won because she just got the title back and she's not a transitional champion, blah, 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 blah. No, fuck that.
All right, but yeah, that's stupid. Okay, she's not a transitional champion, except that she was. The only reason she has the title is because
Sasha one time off.
Sasha decided she had injuries. And then WWE was like, but you fucking don't. And she was like, you got me. You got me. I don't. I'll come back. And so, yeah, the right call here was Bayley.
Was clearly Bayley. The match they wrestled even sold it as being Bayley.
Because why put her in there?
Because 1, why else put her in there? 2, the entire match she was treated as an afterthought, as not being good enough, as being easily defeatable by either of the other 2 competitors in the ring. Clearly a tag along who didn't belong in the title picture.
You know what?
And this is Bayley. I'm sorry, but no.
This is the women's division. I mean, look, it's better than it was, but it feels like it's being booked by Diet Vince Russo.
You know what? No, this particular decision is not limited. This is WWE.
Well, I mean, it is, but this has been so.
They have problems booking an underdog without making them look weak.
Let me finish my point here. The entire time since the women's revival or whatever the fuck they call it,
Divas Revolution originally,
it's
but
the women's evolution, I think, but
Yeah.
whatever. Since that began, the way these matches are booked is this is how you tell a decent story. It's pretty by the numbers, but this is how you tell a decent story. And then once you get near the conclusion of that story, the last act of that story is booked in a way that isn't that.
It's booked in a way that is either completely boring.
Well, yeah, it's either the direct opposite or it's just something that's stupid, and it ends up being not, oh, I didn't expect that. It ends up being, why?
Why was this pointless swerve here? Diet Vince Russo. I get what you said.
Yeah, it's not a crazy swerve. It's not like Bayley's like, I'm your father, and Charlotte's like, you are. Oh
And
my
then
god,
she
I
takes
didn't
off her
know.
energy mask and it's Ric Flair.
it's not like fucking Sasha Banks is laying down for Charlotte and then Charlotte cuts a promo about the death of wrestling. No, it's just like, hey, I have an idea. You know how we included the new person we signed into this match, and we didn't really actually put them over very well through the course of the match. So storytelling dictates that they should probably win the match. That way they get the fan heat in what is basically mathematical how to book a wrestler 101.
And also because this talent is a big talent who has a lot of buzz coming in from your own your own company, coming in from a different division. So it's not like you're pushing outside talent, and is well liked and has proven she's more than capable of putting on amazing 5-star matches that, I'm sorry, to be quite frank, completely trounce anything I've ever seen Charlotte Flair pull off.
Just because Charlotte's lazy. She's good when she's trying. But she doesn't always try. And
that doesn't mean like some matches she does, some matches she doesn't. No. Throughout the course of an entire match, she has not tried throughout the course of an entire match in the entire time I've been watching her.
Every now and then she'll pull off a really good move and it looks nice, but she just doesn't give a shit. She's coasting. But
she's clearly a Flair.
To your point, no, I'm sorry, not enough cocaine.
Fair. Also, dark.
Hey, buddy.
Enjoy your ka-thump thump.
She just would not stop farting.
I understand.
It was like she was running fucking Natty Neidhart's old gimmick over here.
Oh.
I'm going to tie that back into wrestling. You see how I did that? I did that for you, listener. But to your point, you're right. WWE does this. They go, oh, a babyface. People like them. Well, they never need to win.
People already like him. Dolph Ziggler never needs to win a match. He's already over. People buy his merch. He's good. He doesn't need to win more matches. We can use that to put over other people by having them beat him. No. WWE's called the Wharf Effect.
Yeah.
Look it the fuck up.
Please don't do that to Bayley. I love her so much. I like Sasha Banks too. I don't like that she did her little injury dance, but whatever. It would have been different if she hadn't literally just taken time off from injury and been like, I'm back and I'm medically cleared, I guess bye again. I mean, she derailed this storyline more than anybody.
It's true, and I understand you not wanting to put the title back on her because that's not the kind of behavior you want to reward. I get that.
Yeah, so put it on fucking
Bayley. But you want to save Bayley up for like a big WrestleMania moment or something.
I guess.
I'm sure that's their thought process. Is Bayley winning is a big WrestleMania, yay. No, stop. Stop trying to book all your stories around a once-a-year thing. Just fucking tell the story, please. Book like December to WrestleMania for WrestleMania. That's fine. Don't make this shit Christmas. Don't start encroaching on more and more of the year.
Well, regardless, it wasn't a perfectly clean win, but it was clean enough.
Dana Brooke pulled the ref off a couple times and did some cheating, and there was some definite chicanery involved, but the actual pinfall was clean.
So I don't know. I just don't know. And it was off a big boot, which is her signature, but
when's the last time somebody went off a signature?
Well, I mean, frequently enough.
No, that's not true.
I guess on a pay-per-view, no, you're probably right about that. I'm sure, listener, you could come up with some information that proves us wrong.
What? I'm perfectly happy. If one of you, listener, if any of you can provide me the last time on a pay-per-view someone won with a signature, not a finisher, and then, a signature later, and that was just the final straw. No, one off a signature as the big thing that did the damage. If you will provide me that information, I will be more than happy to eat all the crow on this. I will fully admit that I was wrong and base myself before you, but I don't think you fucking can. Well, I don't think you got the time to go through all that footage, friend.
I mean, I'm sure you could, but is it worth it? I mean, push up your glasses and snort and say, well, 6 months ago. And good God, that was 6 months ago. Come
6 months, yeah. 6 fucking months ago.
And this is a title match, But whatever. It was dumb. The decision was dumb, and then they made it even dumber by the trappings.
Because, and I don't want to be clear here, sometimes it's good to win off signatures. It helps.
Yeah, it helps sells the signatures.
Sells the move as not just the Superman punch.
The same way it's good to win off a roll-up, other than when it's little big man thing.
The same way it's good to mix things up. I'm actually going to get to this later. Next match, in fact. But It's good to mix things up. I just don't think this was the right moment for it.
There was just too much else going on.
Yep.
Yeah. So our next contest was
The best book face in the company versus hands down the worst book face in the company.
the worst book anything.
Yeah. The worst booked guy, as he would say. Maybe that's what the guy means. Just the worst booked is in parentheses guy.
Yeah, maybe.
I choose to believe. I reject your reality and substitute my own. That's what it means now. Rusev versus Roman Reigns for the United States Championship.
I believe that Rusev is possibly the greatest United States champion ever.
I
I believe that Rusev is one of the best wrestlers, like top 5, the WWE has right now.
He's certainly, like, in terms of pure technical wrestling, I'm not sure about that.
No, but I mean like one of the best entertainers all around.
Entertainers,
Yeah.
he just goddamn gets match psychology.
He does. He so good
gets
at
how to
it.
work an audience. He gets how to sell, and I don't just mean act injured. I mean he sells the drama of the match. He sells his character's turmoil, whether his character's angry or frustrated or sad or confused. Or,
you know what?
The man acts with his face like an actual, like an Academy Award-winning actor.
And to that point, we like to make jokes about how he's the best booked face in the company, but he does, within the confines of the match, act like a heel. He's entitled, he's bratty, he, gets mad when people don't count right.
He literally threw a tantrum at one point.
And I would like to point you in this direction. The next time you would like to tell me that The Miz is the best working heel in the company, all that man does is look around and go, my farts smell great. Rusev is the best working heel in this company.
I can counteract that. What's a heel for?
Being really big and stompy. He's not the best booked heel. He's the best working heel. They book Miz better as a heel because he has a title and he never loses for reasons unknown.
Miz is so much better at getting boos. I love Ruru, but he's just too expressive. He's too charismatic and expressive.
I don't know that that's. See that? Then you get into the meta of the booking logic, and like God.
And it's fucked right now because people just the people in the arenas are just contrarian dickbags.
Well,
so.
Look, regardless. All right, fucking regardless of intent, audience intent. Okay.
But I honestly I will say that. If it's not The Miz, it is Rusev.
Yeah, but just to put a little tie on that point, regardless of why the audience is cheering or booing who they cheer or boo, we have evolved to a point, in part thanks to the internet, where the classic mark only really exists in children, and even then, not for long.
No, usually till about 10.
Yeah, kayfabe is dead. Wrestling is a TV show. These are athlete actors.
And sometimes people like Joffrey, and those people are bad.
But regardless, the bookers we have are still the bookers who were booking when kayfabe was so alive that Kane wasn't allowed to walk around on the streets without his mask on.
No, Glenn could. He just he couldn't do it anywhere in the vicinity of a WWE arena.
I mean, there were rules.
Right.
So, these guys are going. They understand now. They finally got it that kayfabe's dead, but they still are kind of like, how do I have this guy and this guy. You're supposed to like this one, so do it. Well, you don't like this guy. Rather, you do like this guy, but you shouldn't. I guess he'll kill a baby?
Maybe you just don't get it?
You know what? Just lose. Fuck you. I don't know what you're doing wrong, but the fans aren't responding right to you. When they're responding. It's about heat. It doesn't matter.
And we say that, but it's not always true.
I mean, okay, from a mechanical sense, yes. Use it scientifically. What do you want? What sells merch? What pushes pay-per-view tickets and buy rates and fucking Nielsen ratings?
Stars.
And what makes stars? Heat. Wow, super scientific, actually. You get audience excitement. They direct it toward the people they want to direct it toward. They buy the merch. They buy the tickets to see them do their job, etc., etc., etc. It doesn't matter why or how. Because you know what? I'm not going to say nobody, but you are way less likely to sell heel merchandise. If your goal is to sell merchandise, just be happy you have a merchandise selling man.
I suppose it's just
We went to...
I'd like to believe that's the case, but I just don't know that it always works that way.
Well-
Sometimes I will say that you'd be better served trying to disassociate yourself with the audience reactions.
Well, then that's my point. Is, tell your story how you're going to tell your story. This guy's a good guy, this guy's a bad guy, that's how we're booking it. What the fuck matters what the audience does?
But the problem with that is the audience takes exception to that. They want to be able to decide who the good guy and who the bad guy is. And if you don't let them, they get louder and more belligerent until you cave.
Well...
Because they're entitled cockwags.
You're speaking of a specific person, the victor of this match in this scenario.
It's happened to people before, but he is hands down the best modern example of it.
But it's been a handful of people.
But they're the loudest handful.
Sure, no, and you're not wrong, but that's the exception, not the rule. And you can't build your structure, whether that be financial or storytelling, around the exception. Roman Reigns, I feel bad for him because he ended up being dealt a shitty hand that looked really good.
It's more like he got dealt a really good hand, and then all the people watching the poker game decided that made him Satan.
It's more complicated than that. How long was this podcast at this point? Okay, no, that's not bad. I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of it. You guys know wrestling history. We're not What Culture, dropping the name of a better channel in our channel. But, look, I'm no Adam Blampied. I have a very smooth voice, but Eric Bischoff is not my dad, and I'm lesser for it. I will agree entirely that a large vocal section of the fans got extremely entitled over issues with Daniel Bryan. However, that same section of fans is still really entitled about issues with Daniel Bryan when Daniel Bryan said, "I can't be a WrestleMan anymore, please stop." That doesn't mean you have to change your wrestling. It means some of your fans are really loud assholes. The same way as back in the 80s, a motherfucker might charge the ring because that shithead cheated to win. And he shouldn't be allowed.
Right, back in the 80s, there was a much quicker way to deal with that problem. Kevin Nash isn't allowed to fucking destroy everyone who goes and boos Roman Reigns just for existing.
Somewhere at Kevin Nash's house. I should be. Could be.
Kevin Nash, you have one mission. Find every person. Go Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Get every person on the internet who's mad at Roman Reigns for nothing that Roman Reigns did. Who's mad at Roman Reigns because Phillip Brooks is a tattletaling dickweed. And you go beat them up.
And also because he's not Daniel Bryan.
I know, I use that particular angle because Kevin Nash hates CM Punk.
Oh, I see. I see.
I'm selling it to Kevin.
Okay, I'm sorry. Kevin, ignore what I said. I edited it out like that sneeze that one time. I did used to edit this podcast at one point in my life. I would go through and be like, boy and I got a little mean to each other there. Let's edit that out. Or there was a long period of silence where we didn't know what to say. Let's just get rid of that. Cut it down. Very good. Nice trim podcast. Now I could fucking throw up on the fucking podcast and be like, I'll edit it out later. There's like half an hour of me getting up, cleaning off, taking a shower, coming back, sitting down. We do another sound test. We start the podcast all over again. You get a podcast and a podcast sandwich. Kevin Nash, go do the boys' bidding, please.
Anyway, Roman Reigns won this match, and I think that's the right call.
Yeah, I love Rusev, and I wanted him to win, but in a marquee way, not in a realistic way. It's about time. I think it's bullshit that Roman gets WP'd and then comes back into a title shot, but...
He didn't.
He's only been back for 2 months.
Dude, he had a pretty shitty 2 months.
All right, but
And he's a main event talent.
Remind me.
They let Randy Orton work one of those fucking things off.
Yeah.
Unclench.
Randall, he's a fucking asshole. I'd like him more if he were still a snake monster.
Same.
I wouldn't even think he didn't do any wellness policy violations. The snake didn't. That was Randy. The snake you can trust.
The snake is pure. The serpent that lives in Randy Orton's head, his lizard brain.
He's his baby. But yeah, I don't care for Roman Reigns.
The match was good
because of Roman Reigns, but he did put on a really good match here. He did all his big kiki moves and hitty moves and speary moves. And as you said, sometimes it's good to
mix
shake things up.
What I mean by that is actually this. Again, when's the last time someone wanted a signature? Another interesting thing you could look up for me, listener. When's the last time Roman Reigns set up for the spear, did his thing where he throws his arms out and shouts into the sky and says "ooh-ah"? I don't know why. Like it used to just yell. It became "ooh-ah" after a while.
Maybe like a Samoan thing.
Maybe.
Might translate to "I'm going to fucking spear you." Maybe all the WWE wrestlers know Samoan.
That's a hilarious joke. But he does that, and he hasn't hit it in like a year. At least. It's been at least a year since he set up for that fucking thing and actually hit it.
Maybe he does on weekly TV.
Maybe
we're missing that build.
Maybe it's, he does the thing and then hits it on weekly TV, but on pay-per-view, they swerve it because it's a pay-per-view. Okay, well, in that case, can't do that every pay-per-view. Can't do it every time on a pay-per-view, because if you do, it just makes Roman look stupid.
I mean, there should be times for that, like Ric Flair going to the top rope. Good shit. Because you get to that point in the match where you're like, yeah, Ric Flair win. And you climb that top rope and you're like, Ric Flair, you fucking moron, don't do it.
That never ends well for you.
And that one time he hit it, and we all collectively were like, yes!
Or, The Rock trying to do the Rock slide.
Rock slide.
It's just some things are clearly this isn't what that's meant to be. This is clearly meant to be him gearing up to kick your ass. This is him tuning up the band. Go back and watch Shawn Michaels matches. He didn't automatically get reversed every time he tuned up the band.
And JBL sold that really well in an interview I read once. He was like, they were like, why do you get up if you hear him stomping? It's very rhythmic. It can really only be one thing. And he's like, you got the shit beat out of you, and you're just laying on the mat going, what the hell is that noise? So you get up and super kick.
But it just makes him look stupid because it just makes him look like his opponent hears "ooh ah" behind his, he's gonna spear me. I can work this to my advantage. I can do something to him for it. Like, it just makes him look dumb. It makes him look like a fucking dummy. And I don't think that's what you're going for, guys. If it's what you're going for, fine. But I don't think it is.
Lana was great in this match. Basically, got Rusev out of shit twice. Once by literally pulling the referee out of the ring. The referee's like, what the fuck was that for? And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing happened. I wasn't there.
Wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
He's just like,
full Sean Paul. Fucking kidding me.
Wasn't me. I don't know what you're talking about. You must have fell. I think she actually said you must have fallen.
It was beautiful.
Like, she just fully, absolutely Bill Clinton. Didn't do it. Didn't do it. Nope, she straightened her jacket and went, I don't know why you're yelling at me. You should be calling the match. I did nothing. And clearly, I'm over here. You went out over there, and I don't know what you think.
There was some point where she jumped up on the apron and just, started screaming and pointing at Roman Reigns. And everybody was like, What's
Roman Reigns even looked.
He's
he looked over like,
did I do something?
What? Did you need something? Can I help you? I'm kind of wrestling a match here.
But the ref ejects her after the pulling out of the ring stuff.
And normally, manager interferes. Ref's fighting with her. Ref ejects the manager, and then, because back in the 80s, that meant the face was going over for the last 20 years, ref ejects the manager. While the ref is busy ejecting the manager, the heel does a bad thing and wins.
Yeah.
But in this case, the match just continued on after that. Yeah. And I was very pleased.
And Roman ended up going over it, which, congratulations to him. I hope he makes some hay with it. Look, he's got the crowd Cena split at this point.
Yeah, and you know what? It was exact, too. It was, let's go Cena, all the women, all the kids. It was, let's go Roman, and then Roman sucks from all the adult dudes who've been booing Roman this whole time. But he finally won over the women and kids enough that they're doing the other half of this chant. And somewhere Vince McMahon, for reasons unknown to him, got a gigantic boner. Because all of the money. He just got all the money that exists.
Yay, our Cena's wearing down. We got a new Cena.
And look, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, internet fans. You didn't want Roman to be the new John Cena. You know how you could have prevented that? Not booing him all the goddamn time. Because then you just made enemies. And that's the reason John Cena was John Cena. Because you booed him, and he was being the good guy in the story, so the kids got upset that these people were booing the good guy and started buying his merch more and more and more because now it's a war and they have to defeat you and their children, and they have more free time than you.
I don't know if it's quite as complicated or vindictive as that. I think Roman Reigns is a charismatic guy. The announcers sell him as being cool, so the kids like him.
Right, but I guarantee a big part of John Cena's merch sales was that there was, when you hear John Cena, people going, Cena sucks. Cena doesn't suck. I'll show them. John Cena's great. Mom, buy me another Cena shirt.
Yeah, children don't...
They don't think about it consciously like that.
Oh, okay, I see. All right, no. All right, then I agree with what you said. That's fine. I was like, kids don't know that's how that works. Unless they really like CM Punk, they don't know that's how that works.
But no, like, they don't think of it consciously, but they really want to show their support for this guy they like that's getting all this hate for no reason. He's the good guy. He's doing nice things. They did this. Roman was the good guy for so long, and he was doing nice things, and he persevered through all your dumb boos, and you were hating him for no reason, and now it's happened. Now it's happened. Now they hate you. Now you're the enemy. You've galvanized an army of children to buy Roman Reigns merch. You've done this to yourselves, you self-fulfilling prophecy motherfuckers. And I might end up being wrong, but I hope not. I hope that you get the exact fucking meal that you've cooked for yourselves, you whiny, entitled fucking douche nozzles.
If that's the case, I hope around 2025 they have an ECW revival pay-per-view, or at this rate, TNA. and Roman Reigns is demanded to learn new moves.
Yeah.
Because, like, he didn't. Not this match. He has before. He used to be really good. I used to be a big fan, but I don't want to say he got lazy. He just got by the numbers.
He's being told.
I know.
He's clearly being instructed to do his 5 moves.
And I'm like, they're not even really moves. They're all just a different variety of big punch and big kick and big hole man.
Big hole man.
The next match is Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins for the WWE Strawberry Championship.
This match happened. It occurred. It was a thing.
I actually liked it. It was good. Good back and forth. Kevin Owens was really funny during it.
Like, okay, sure.
Were you just like too jazzed after Roman won, or?
No, this match didn't. This was good. It was a good match. I'm not gonna say it wasn't. Just I knew who was winning. I didn't have spoilers, but like.
Yeah, I feel that. I had hope, but I mean, the booker in me went.
I mean, this is clearly Kevin. Kevin is winning this match.
He still deserves the title.
They're not gonna have Seth win this early. They're not gonna have Seth win this quickly after turning face. They gotta build him up.
Yeah, he wasn't even fully face until after the match.
So, like, no, I'm sorry. No, it doesn't. No, Kevin's winning. And it was so predictable, and there was no point at which I was at all brought into the match. It just didn't sell me. It was well wrestled. You're right, Kevin was great because I think at one point you said, Kevin Owens in his head, they keep scripting my promos, so I'll just make my own promos during the match, and they can't stop me.
Yeah, because he was yelling real good. Just all kinds of shit.
He's a loud motherfucker.
It's because he's Canadian.
No, they're very polite and quiet.
But loud. They're not quite. They're not quiet. Have you ever like been to a hockey game?
No. Why would I go to a hockey game?
You can't, because have you ever driven through a city and there's like this weird sort of ooh?
Okay.
That's a hockey game taking place miles away.
So it's just a wall of sound.
Yeah, because of all the Canadians. I wish we had like video so I could cut to a real Canadian fact, but we don't.
So you just get a dumb version of him singing it.
But I like this match. There were good spots. Kevin Owens attacked the table. Didn't do anything. Was that? Oh no, I remember when Roman Reigns went over that table and he gave a thumbs up and he's like, "Thanks for having my back, German announcers."
Because apparently the German announcers
They got out of the way well before the spot. They saw shit going down and were like, "You know what? Let's get up."
and he went, "You know what? Thanks for having my back, guys."
It was pretty funny. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really have a lot to say about it either. It was a good match. Tragically, when matches are good, there's not much you can say about them. Go watch it. It's 25 minutes long, but it's good. It's on the network. They have those helpful little dots you can click on and go directly to the match.
Fun fact, unless Chris Benoit's involved. I was watching a bunch of old pay-per-views recently from 2002, 2003. And there'll be, dot, beginning of match, end of match, all throughout the pay-per-view. And then around about mid-2002, you start seeing dot, big conspicuous blank space, dot.
Well, and they did that to Hulk Hogan for a while, but they put him back a couple months ago. And he's back in the bumpers now, too.
Excellent. Slowly but surely.
Yeah, slowly but surely.
Gawker loses. The good guys win. But
that was the show.
Yeah, that was
Clash of Champions.
It was a good show. It was a very good show. Even the title match, which didn't sell me, I could recognize was very well wrestled.
Chris Jericho and Sami Zayn was a low point. It was dumb. Did I ever tell you Chris Jericho won? He cheated.
It was the Chris Jericho one. We couldn't remember if he cheated, but
okay. Chris Jericho won. He cheated me out of a good match.
It was mid-length. It was fine. Like the show was good. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was a B+, A- pay-per-view. I have nothing really bad to say about it.
It was better than a Raw. Much better.
The main event left me a little flat because it didn't sell me. But
I want to like Seth Rollins. Because you know what? They're serving me up a bill of goods, and I probably should like it. He's not a white guy. That's always nice. I mean, just in the sense that WWE... Triple H to Booker T, your kind of people don't become champion. That's always nice to see that we're not doing that anymore. The same way it was cool to see The Rock up there. The same way, it's cool to see Roman Reigns up there. Although by this point, Samoans get a free pass. They count as white guys.
They're Samoans. They're wrestlers.
Yeah. But, he's funny. He does a lot of nerd references. He's very talented. Sting says he doesn't blame him, and neither does Finn Balor, so that's good.
Yeah.
I should like him.
He was Draco Malfoy for a while. And that was a really good gimmick.
That was funny.
I like him. I've turned around on Kevin Owens. I think I mentioned that before on the podcast.
I turned him a little bit in the other direction. I'm just kind of bored of him. This thing with Jericho, everybody says it's so fucking funny. I don't like it.
Well, you don't watch it week to week.
Even when I do see it, like when I watch a clip or something, or if I actually sit down and watch like a Raw highlight reel, I don't think it's funny. I don't think fucking Chris Jericho is funny right now. I keep hearing people saying, "Oh, it's genius. The stupid idiot thing is gold." And I'm like, but it isn't. It's bad. Maybe it's just, I have a different sense of humor than most people today.
I think it's more that, it's so meta that it's not funny to us anymore.
And maybe that's a big thing among a lot of Pocket fans, especially the internet crowd, when you get so hyper meta.
Chris Jericho's heel gimmick currently is meta. It's meta designed to make internet fans mad, and because it's so well designed to make internet fans mad, internet fans love it because they're nothing if not contrarian dickweeds.
I think that's why the last pay-per-view and these fucking matches like Charlotte and Bayley and Sasha Banks keep happening. I have forgotten entirely about that until you literally just reminded me. Because, okay, so other than being offended, the cool thing to do these days, for the last 15 years, I'd say, and longer, but really hard the last 15 years in the internet generation, has been to be perceived as smarter than everyone else.
Because for some reason, when they originally gathered up the term smarks, everyone misunderstood that to mean we're people who watch wrestling who are smarter than the dumb fans. We're smart marks. No, that just means wrestling is fake. It's an industry term, you gigantic dickweeds.
You've been smartened up. But not just wrestling, in other things as well. This is going to happen. that means it's subpar because it used tried and true storytelling mechanics. I'm great.
And there's one thing between, you can tell what's going to happen, so you're not into it. That's fine.
Sure.
But you can tell what's going to happen, so it's bad. No, that's not what happened. The Kevin Owens match, Seth Rollins match was very good. I just wasn't into it. That's a good contrast, I think.
Sure. Like, if you're... Okay, and on the other side of that, the Guardians of Ga'Hoole, that CGI owl movie that came out years ago, that shit was by-the-numbers fantasy.
Like, it couldn't have been a more archetypal fantasy story if it was literally a hero with 1,000 faces.
Or if he went out searching for 4 crystals of elemental power. I mean...
He almost did.
He almost did. But, but it was still good. It was beautiful, and the characters were fun. And by contrast, boy, not super into Kevin Owens, not super into Seth Rollins. This match was good, but it's different than going, okay, so this did what I expected it to do. I have decided that it's not good enough. Yeah, this plays into my entire philosophy about the genuine reaction, but bear with me if you will. I think it's very important. You don't falsify your emotional investment in something, because all that does is cheapen it for you, and if people start listening to you, cheapen it for other people.
It's something I also kind of agree in that when dealing with people in general, I kind of despise artifice.
Yeah, it is that artifice. It's, if you come around a corner and go boo at a guy, and the guy jumps a little bit, and they're like, I wasn't scared, you didn't get me. I just, I had a spasm. Shut up.
Stop.
Be scared. No one's here trying to cut your ego down by like, haha, I scared you, now I have power over you.
Or if that is the kind of person you're hanging out with, stop fucking hanging out with that person. They're a shithead.
Report them to your supervisor if they're at work, because that is unsafe workplace behavior. You could slip and fall, and the company is then liable for your injuries.
Like, just don't hang out with shitty people, step 1. Step 2, be genuine with the now non-shitty people you hang out with.
Yeah, it's not hard. Everybody loves Happy Birthday Surprise. Well, not everybody, but still, it's a good example. Most people I'm going to hit with that. Ultimo Dragon, I know he loves Happy Birthday Surprise. People come around a corner with a cake. It's all your friends and loved ones. Candles, numbering the years you have been alive. You're like, holy shit, great. It's my favorite kind of cake.
He's talking about me. I'm the person who doesn't like that. Please never do that.
I don't know, man. Free cake.
No, bro. I don't like birthdays.
Free cake.
I want the listener to understand not to do that.
Could they mail you a free cake?
Do not mail me.
Could they mail you a coupon for cake?
No, I can't deny it because cake.
No, I could just go to the store and pick that up. Ooh, what if it's a Menchie's ice cream cake? I like this. All right, well, I think that's our podcast. Feel free to mail us coupons for free cake.
We went real serious and then cake coupons right there, and that's a weird ending, but it's the one you're getting. Everything's better when nerds talk about it.
Fuck it, let's get hot.